Hi everybody, we're just waiting for Simon and Jack, aka Deltarax, for this week's Inquisition. Once they've joined, then we'll be rocking and rolling for this week's Inquisition. What a glorious day it is in Donegal. I hope you are all having fun today. The joys of gone live. Alright, Jack.
How are we,
How
mate?
you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate.
How's the weather over by yourself?
Hot. Just
Yeah.
expect the hottest day of the year to do mine when I have to sit here like a hot, sweaty mess.
I'm sitting like fucking Jimmy Savile in a BBC changing room here. I think we're just waiting for Simon. Now to join. I don't think Casey's joining us this week. He's got prior engagements. Or he'll
Okay.
turn up late. One of the two.
I should just imagine turning up late, probably.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You painting anything tonight, mate, or not?
Sorry?
Are you painting anything tonight or not?
No, man, I'm just trying to... I'm not that long finished work, so I'm just trying to get the workhead out my system here. So,
Yeah.
what are you painting this day yourself?
Yeah. Bits for me, Necromunda gang, Recordo. I'm just, I wasn't happy with the skin tone that I had, so I'm just touching it back up now. So.
And here he is there, the bearded god himself.
How are we?
Evening.
All right.
Yeah.
So, thanks for accepting the request to come on at the Inquisition, Jack, or Delta, however you prefer to be called. So, it's just really an informal chat just to speak about yourself and what you do and what you paint and if you're playing that. So, how did you get started at the miniature plastic crack addiction that we've all got now?
I think I'm the same as every 30-something-year-old man in the UK where I was played as a loose term as a kid. I collected different things, painted different things, got bored and I found women and alcohol and stuff like that. And then thought, I need something to do when I'm in my 30s. So I came back.
And was it like lockdown that got you back into it, or were you doing it before lockdown?
No, it was after lockdown, to be honest with you. I wish I had done it in lockdown because it'd been something to do. But yeah, I know it was after lockdown. What was it? About 18 months now, something like that. I've been back. So just after like the last lockdown, really, I've come back into it.
And how do you find being back? Do you notice a big difference between like the paints and the miniatures from when you first started to like now?
Yeah, massive difference. Like when I was first painting, I was up to the ferrule with the paintbrush and putting it everywhere. Like now.
You do that now. Don't worry. That's what you're doing now. I see you doing that now.
That's what Casey does. I think Casey just throws the paint at the models and just hope it sticks. Because he's not here, we can just fucking rip the piss right out of him as well.
Well, that's come up with some conspiracy theory why he isn't here.
We know why he's not here. He's under the thumb.
Under the thumb.
Spread some false rumour about
right in the middle of his head.
want to can't come out to play tonight, lads, because Mum won't let me.
So when you're not painting, what do you do, like work-wise, or are you a man of leisure? You've made your millions and you just paint miniatures now?
I wish, mate, I wish. I drive diggers. It's a day job.
You know, you said earlier that like you found women and like you found drinking. I'm really hoping that when we get a woman on, she's going to say, "Well, I found men and I found drink, and then I stopped painting, and then I came back 25 years later,
I
14 frogs."
really hope so. I really hope somebody says that.
Well, we've got
But yeah.
Nymph on next week, and I'm pretty sure she's not going to stand either myself or Simon, so it's going to be a struggle for her.
She's not
Yeah.
I didn't get that. That was too Scottish for me. What did you say?
You are so racist, by the way. Honestly, I will come down to. I will come over to Stoke, and I will hunt you down. Now, I'm saying that Nymph is going to really struggle with me and you next week, Simon, because of
You
our
need a time
broad.
later.
Yeah, that's why Casey needs to get from under his wife's thumb so he can translate.
Pretty much. So, do you play much of the tabletop game, or is it just painting?
I play a little bit. I have to endure Simon on a regular basis with his ridiculously overpowered lists that he takes all the time.
No, then. Your lists are just ridiculously underpowered. My problem.
Overpowered. He's a meta chaser, dunk, so he has to have the latest thing, and yeah, you know what these meta chasers are like.
So you just play Space Marines. Space Marines and Space Marines. What you buying today? Small Space Marines.
I'm not as lucky as you to have all 17 armies fully painted by Siege, so
Yeah. My armies look like Siege painted them, yeah. I got one of the 16-year-old apprentices to do mine for 50 pence and a bag of crisps.
You get 16-year-olds to do yours. That's a bit like, you shouldn't really be saying that online. Is that not illegal?
Painting, dunk, painting.
And do you follow the lore? Do you follow the lore? Would you like? Are you into the lore much at all? Like, I'm a big lore fan. Like, that's how I get into Warhammer. I get into the books. I read a bad Star Wars book, and then I wanted to read. I went into something different, so I got in Warhammer through really the books.
Yeah. The only one I'll say read. I listened to the audiobook for Hell's Reach with Grimaldus, and that. I enjoyed that. I've started listening to the Gaunt's Ghost stuff, but the bloke who does the voices does the same Scottish or Irish accent for every character, so it's hard to keep up with who is still alive, who isn't, and yeah, so I gave that one up in the end. But I haven't read any of the Horus Heresy or anything like that, and to be honest, it doesn't really interest me, if I'm honest. I can't be bothered to go through that many books. And
Yeah,
to go through all that, like, you know what I mean? Fair play to anybody who's kept up with everything, but it's not for me. And it's like,
You can't read, that's why.
Shh, I told you not to tell anybody about
that. Yeah, like, so I would be, and I would be. I didn't think the Horus Heresy would be as many books as it is, because but you know yourself, Simon, like they kind of trailed off into the whole Siege of Terra now as well. That's probably going to be another 3,000 books where it just became a bit of a farce. So apart from Warhammer stuff and GW stuff, is there anything else you paint that's like non-game? What Games Workshop?
No, not really. No, the only other bits and pieces I painted is stuff from what they call War Games Atlantic. They did the Space Nam, like almost like Catachan's. I painted them, but everything else has been Games Workshop, really.
Simon's not pressured you into buying Star Wars Armada yet, and
Not for me, that isn't. I haven't got 200 quid to put all on spaceship, so.
You don't have to. There's loads at Boltstorm Wargaming. You can just use those.
Nah, it doesn't interest me in the slightest, to be honest. None of the Star Wars games really do it for me as such.
And do you play much of the like Space Marine games? Like, do you play much like you play much computer games in like the fantasy
No,
realm?
no, not really anymore now. I can't remember the last time I turned my Xbox on, to be honest with you. I used to play a lot of like Call of Duty, Skyrim, that sort of stuff. On me. But yeah, I haven't got enough time to do the stuff I want at the minute, never mind playing Xbox as well, so you know what it's like. It's not enough hours in the day at the best of times, is there?
Yeah, true that. Like, I played Skyrim myself when it first came out, and then I gave some bird that you get all my stuff, and then I lost her, so I lost all my stuff. I just stopped playing the game after that. But I'd be like a big Dark Souls fan. What about you, Simon? Do you still play your Atari XL from back in the day?
Commodore 64, mate.
Yeah, probably the
No,
first one, man.
no, I haven't. I think I've played on I've got a PlayStation, but I don't think I've used it for over a year.
See, I wasn't playing Space Marine 2, but I just can't be bothered. And to be
Does
honest,
look
the
good,
first one was good. Sorry.
does look good. Space Marine 2 does. I've seen videos of like gameplay and stuff like that, and it does look really good. I think it'll get a lot of people into it, into the hobby. It'll be interesting to see the figures for if it does spark people's interest in it, like from playing that game.
Aye, like it does look sexy as fuck, like, but I just don't think I can justify like the 900 quid to pay for it. Like, you know what I mean, it's just too
I
expensive.
was told earlier on that the new Grand Theft Auto, when that eventually comes out, is going to be 150 quid for one game, which I think is ridiculously expensive. How true that is, I don't know. Just something I've been told, like, but wouldn't surprise me the way things are going.
Yeah, like I played Grand Theft Auto 4, and my son is flat out in Grand Theft Auto 5, but like I'm a Dark Souls man.
Yeah.
I mean, an Elden Ring. Like I like that kind of fantasy. Like I'd like to see Warhammer do a film, like a proper grimdark film. Because like when you watch their teaser trailers for their games, I mean they are nice, they are beautiful to watch. You really just want to see it in the big screen. Do you know what I mean? What about you, Simon?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, what game? What we talking about now? Warhammer video. Warhammer series. I don't know because if they're going to do it on, it's going to be Henry Cavill. It's going to be Amazon. It's not going to be Grimdark. It's just not.
No, what I'm talking about, no, what I was saying there was like, do you know when you like they're releasing a new game or they're releasing like a new edition or a new faction, like the trailers are sexy, like they are really good to watch. You would just wish they would scale it up in that aspect and like
They're gonna put it if they did, they're just gonna stick it on Warhammer Plus, aren't they? I mean, they've got loads of animators now because he's nicked them all off YouTube when they threatened to close them down. So they've got loads of talented animators that can do it. But they're gonna anything they do like that, they're gonna stick it behind the paywall, so you have to pay to watch it.
Well,
it's not going to be on like streaming service or anything. It's not going to be on the cinema.
You have to have Warhammer Plus now to use the new app, don't you? So that's going to get a lot of people watching them anyway, isn't it? I think.
And obviously somebody will end up putting it in some IPTV. And they'll be able to crack it and put it on IPTV. So yeah, I'd be happy with that. Not that I use IPTV, but I do. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't? Like, I was looking. They were saying like during the week there, like Sky's like 42 quid, Amazon is 9 quid, and TNT, formerly BT Sports, like 27 quid. So it's like 90 quid to watch the football over the weekend if you have all three subscriptions. Like it's just crazy prices. Like
yeah.
Or you can go to the pub and watch it on a Fire Stick.
Yeah, and then spend 90 quid on a fucking round of drinks if you live in Donegal, like I do.
It doesn't make any sense, does it, that the country that the game is being played in can't broadcast the game, but you can watch it through Saudi Arabia or wherever. You change your VPN to anything you want, and you can watch the game. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Go to games, don't we? But games are. I mean, even like Stoke's like £27 a ticket, and that's Championship football. So you take yourself, your couple of kids, maybe your missus, and you know it's £100 easy.
At least that's just the tickets, isn't it? Before anything else.
Yeah, that's the ticket before you pay for the overpriced drinks and food at the concessions.
Correct.
Although
Shane's
Shane just said something. You'll pay for the animations instead of getting one animation every 3 months, and the rest will all videos regarding the most niche topic you can care about. # speaking from experience. I've never had Warhammer Plus, so I've never watched any of the lore stuff or the painting stuff, so I couldn't tell you whether it was any good or not, to be honest.
I've got it now, but I haven't. I've looked at certain things, but nothing. The only thing that really interests me is the Astartes thing. Well, I'm not in any rush to watch any of it. I wouldn't go out and get it if I didn't have to have Warhammer Plus to use me Warhammer 40k account now.
Well, that's it though, isn't it? That for me is my main issue is I don't want Warhammer Plus because I've got no interest in watching a 30-minute animation twice a month, and I'm not interested in the lore stuff or the games that are on the service because I can watch that on YouTube for free. But now I've got to have it because I want to use the app. So now I've got to pay. Is it £6.99 a month now? Got to pay that. But I've got to pay that now to use the app because the app is really good. But then I'd rather him said like the app's £2. You can have Warhammer Plus as well, or I said like if all the codexes were free, but you were involved in a subscription, I'd pay like £10-15 a month subscription to get all the codexes digitally and have the app, instead of just buying a codex and then also paying for the app, which is what you've got to do now. But they're never going to do that because it's all about money.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have all the codexes for free on the app, wouldn't it?
I'd happily pay a £10-15 a month subscription if they just release the codexes digitally. If you want to buy the book, you can go buy the book. If you don't, they release them digitally, and you can just tap and they're on your app already. Yeah. So the codex rules are there. But they're not going to do that. Instead, they bundle it in with a service that I don't want to have a service that I want.
Yeah, but you could pay the all. You can have a cool miniature every year out of it, can't you?
Yeah, but I don't like any of either the miniatures they brought out. I don't want a Cadian, and I don't want a vampire. So,
well, at this rate, I might get the car skin before they restock the car skin. And
that's what I mean. Yeah, you can have one car skin because you can't get squads of 5 anymore because they're never in the shop.
Yeah,
you can ask 4 of your mates to lend you theirs, and you can have 5 car skins.
Yeah.
I don't have 5.
Do you play any games though, Duncan?
No, I'm actually because I live in Donegal and Ireland. We're quite spread out here, so I'm actually meeting up with Donegal Dice Flingers tomorrow down in Buntrana, which is about an hour away from my house.
That's a fantastic.
So I'm actually going down. So I'm actually going down for my first ever game because I only picked up during lockdown would just be painting. Like I used to paint like Hero Quest and Space Crusade figures, and then I kind of fell away from it. I joined the army and did my thing, and I ended up meeting my wife and that. We had kids, and I only get back into it in lockdown. Like after reading the Horus Heresy books and reading them for a few years, and then played a couple of the PC games and stuff, and I had a voucher for work and I had like money left, so I went and bought the No Fear starter set, and then I just started collecting Death Guard and Necrons then. So I'm actually taking, I don't even know how many points I've got so many miniatures here, like covered my desk. So I'll be taking them down tomorrow and hopefully learning how to play tomorrow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, I think this is a good wee thing that we're doing. Like, I think because it's the dark nights are starting to come in, and hopefully, like this will start to kick off a bit, and we'll get more people on. And if we get an extra viewer, an extra follower, I'm pretty sure Simon, the influencer, will probably get another 10,000 followers by the end of,
I haven't got
the end of this month.
10,000 now. Jesus Christ.
You're closer than me and Dunker.
Yeah. But he knows.
Well, it'd help if we could both post links properly in stories. That would be amazing. If you want people to find your page, the links that you put in your page have to work. That's just
Why didn't it? Why did it not work? Why does a tag not work now?
Because what you must be doing is when you click mention, you start typing the name, and the little icon comes up at the bottom. You're not tapping the icon, are you?
No.
Yeah, tapping.
But I'm tapping the icon. But I think you have to come out.
You can't be because it's not underlining it. So you're doing something wrong.
Right. So what I discovered yesterday, right, was I was typing in say Delta, right, but I was having it in like an entire sentence. So I'd be like, in the Inquisition tomorrow we have Delta, and then he would be tagged. And then once I came out, when I went to press send, it would unlink. So what I was doing is I had to put in the sentence, on this week we have, and then start a new sentence with Delta, and then that was when the link started to work for me. But we're not always professional as yourselves. I mean, like, you're wise in your years. Do you know what I mean? What, you must be about 45, 50?
Who, me?
No.
Simon. Oh, yeah.
I'm an old wise man. Apparently, I didn't know you two had OnlyFans as well, but Shane says we've all got OnlyFans. I know I've got OnlyFans, obviously, because, so I'll make money.
If somebody would pay me for them sort of photos, but I don't think anybody is.
I'll make my money. I get my boobs out for cash. What I do.
Nobody would want to see me naked. Not even my wife wants to see me naked, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm doing this on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I know how you feel, mate. I know how you feel.
See, the news is excited now because we mentioned OnlyFans. She's awake. She's awake, everybody. She's in the chat. She's
When are you next playing something, Simon?
Sunday, me. And are you playing on Sunday, Jack?
Well, yeah. If I can work out how to actually ride a Necromunda.
Yeah, we're supposed to be playing Necromunda on Sunday at Boltstorm. Boltstorm Wargaming in Leek, Staffordshire.
Okay.
Kevin, you're in the area. Yeah, we're supposed to be playing there on Sunday, playing Necromunda. So like the start of the campaign we're doing, and it's the first round of games. And then I'm playing Star Wars Armada in the afternoon, and Jack's probably going home because he's probably got to take his missus somewhere because he's been out gaming in the morning.
Got to do what you got to do, mate, don't you? Got to do what
How does your wife or your missus find your hobby? Does she participate, or she just leave you painting your wee soldiers?
Yeah, she just leaves me alone to it. I've got my two hobbies are Warhammer and carp fishing, so she's not a fan of either, I don't think.
There's my wife as well. Like, I'm hoping to get fishing next weekend. Like, I was hoping to go fishing this weekend, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. So I think I'll be going next weekend.
Nim says links, so it didn't happen. Is that links to the OnlyFans?
There's definitely no link to my OnlyFans.
Do you go fishing much yourself, Jack? Do you go much carp fishing?
Yeah, I try and go once a week, to be honest. I try and do it a night a week, but I fish like work nights, so I fish in between work. It's not the most productive of times, but if you've got like a young family and stuff like that, you've got to do what you got to do sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I'm probably the opposite end of you. Like, my youngest is 16.
Yeah.
Now, so like, I have more time to be able to go fishing 2 or 3 nights. Well, to be honest, I have to go away for 2 or 3 nights because the syndicate that I'm in is so far away.
Yeah,
I'm 2.5 hours away up to Belfast, so there's no point getting up there for a couple of hours and then coming back. So I just drop there for the night. What's your biggest fish that you've caught this year so far? Do you weigh them?
Yeah, what's the biggest one? Well, £19 this year is probably the biggest one.
And was that before or after the spawning?
After.
What?
I didn't catch anything before spawning. I had the worst springs fishing ever. I didn't catch anything for months months and months I went before I started catching, mate. So yeah, it didn't go well.
What were you saying? Do you go fishing much, or is it just peeping about car parks in your car like last week?
What? Peeping at car parks?
Creeping about in car parks like you were last week in your car?
Yeah, that's all I do. I curb crawl. That's my hobby. No, I don't fish. I've never been fishing, to be honest. Never. Not really something that appeals to me. I get bored. I haven't got the patience.
You say that, right? But you sit there and paint miniatures hours on hours and play tabletop games.
Yeah,
Do you
but
know what I mean?
I can see stuff happening when I paint miniatures. Like if I'm just sitting there staring at a river or a lake, I think I'd just be bored out of my mind.
That is boring though. That sort of fishing is boring. It's when you what we don't do when you go carp fishing and you can have a barbecue, you can have a beer, you can have a few barbecues sitting in a swim mark. It's more of a social event than it is just sitting there. It can be boring on your own, especially if it's cold and it's raining and you're just sitting there with it's no fun, that is.
But as Jack's saying there, like the weights that I go up to is a good wee social aspect as well, and like you're always chatting to people and they're always asking you what you're using and comparing rigs and that as well. And it ended up just being and then you're getting interrupted with your alarms going off because you have to go and get a fish in. Do you know what I mean?
It says it's supposed to be relaxing. Well, yeah, I guess you'll be relaxed if you're just staring into space. Every time I see people do it, they just seem to be sitting there with a cup of tea, or sometimes they've got them little tent things, and then they sit there, and the rods are out there, and I just think, it's a bit like it just looks like crap camping to me. But I mean, if it's what you're into, it's what you're into.
Yeah.
These horses for horses, it's just not for me.
What is a great reset for me is sleep. It sounds stupid, but sleeping outside. You wake up. I don't know if you feel the same about this, Dunk, but like sleeping outside is like always like a reset button, and you sort of like I don't know how to put it into words, like you know what I mean.
There is something refreshing about waking up in your bivvy. Like, 'cause I don't really sleep in my sleeping bag. I sleep on top of my sleeping bag as well, and it's just so nice. Like, I hated when I was in the army and getting into the middle of the woods and being fucking freezing, but it is so different being just when you wake up, it's just that fresh air hits you.
Yeah, that's the sort of feeling I'm on about. There's nothing better than waking up and when you're fishing, you see stuff that nobody else, like you see sunrise, you see sunsets, nobody else really pays attention to them sort of things.
And especially like nights like tonight where the sky's so clear, you'll see stars and stars. It's just, especially if you have a wee herbal cigarette with you as well, or a couple of beers, that always helps.
Yeah.
You start getting all philosophical within yourself.
Yeah.
Welcome
definitely.
to Fishing with Duncan Jack. You could do like that Gone Fishing series, couldn't you?
Yeah.
That's good, man. I enjoy it. And are you a member of a club, or is it just like a local lake that anybody can use, or is it a private members only club you're in?
I've got a couple of different tickets, various things. Have you ever heard of Prince Albert?
I've heard of the Pearson Prince Albert.
So you don't have to have one of them to join the club.
But it helps. Does it help?
Yeah, it helps. It's higher up the chain. No, it's just like
chain to it, geez.
Yeah. Hey, you never know what goes on in Bevies. They're a massive fishing club in the UK, and the wait list now is about 6 years, but I've been in for a couple of years now. And they've got loads of decent lakes from right up to Scotland, through Wales, all through the northwest of England, Midlands, all over. And it's a good ticket to have, to be honest. But I've got a couple round local as well, see, so it's all helps. I think we're a little bit more blessed with fishing than you are in Ireland.
I think it's just because where I am, like in Donegal, it's not really. There's still a lot of trout fishing and like salmon fishing, so the carp hasn't really taken off. There is one lake that's local, but the club that I'm in, we've got like 5 lakes just now.
Yeah.
So, and then there's obviously fishing further down the country as well. But there was a massive loss of fish a couple of years ago with some sort of disease that started in Cork and just worked its way up, and it killed a lot of like carp. It killed a lot of the carp fisheries because people weren't drying their stuff out properly between fish, and then the disease was spreading and then killing fish. So
KHV or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a bad one. That is. You get outbreaks over here now and again, but they're pretty on with stuff like that now. We've had it for a while now. But yeah, it's not a nice thing to see when all the gills are all hanging off and that sort of thing. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, it definitely isn't.
Yeah.
So, what have you got planned for painting? Because what's those Simon's dying aboard looking about fishing? What is it what you're looking to be painting towards the end of the year? Got anything big planned or any big pieces you're looking at to buy?
About 1,000 points through a guard army now. So hopefully I'll get that finished before Christmas. That's the plan. I've always wanted a Bane blade, so that's going to be like my Christmas, paint it over Christmas type thing. Hopefully, if I can get the rest of the army done. But I'm getting there. Like I've had a couple of rescue Lehman Russes off eBay this week. They're coming. Should be here tomorrow. Hopefully, they just need stripping and repainting. But yeah, but after that, I'm about 1,000 points in. So yeah,
You just missed his Bane blade. To be honest with you, he was posing with that for about 2 minutes there.
Yeah, he missed your Bane blade out.
And what about yourself, Simon? You get anything you got any big projects planned for the end of the year coming up?
I need to finish World Eaters. I've got March of Winters and 1st of October. I need to finish 1,100 points of that. And then I want to finish the entire list by the end of the year, if possible. But it's just finding the time right now. I mean, I work every 3rd week. I work 7 days in a row, and I get nothing done then. I get no painting done at all. So really,
on you go, sorry.
Really, I'm only painting probably like 4, 5, maybe 6 days a month. So it's not really a lot of time to get everything done. Just finding the time. Well, if I get a day off, by the time I've done like all the little jobs you need to do when you own your own home, I probably get like a couple of hours in the afternoon to do a bit of painting. And then when I'm working, it's really hard to fit it in because I work shifts. So if I'm on a late shift, I spend the early shift doing stuff before I go to work. And then if I'm on the late shift and I finish it off 8 at night, the last thing I want to do when I walk in is paint something. So it's difficult to find the time when you work shifts.
No, I've heard you tagged this March or Winters now for the last few weeks, and I'm still none of the wiser what it is. Is it something that's happening in your local community?
It's if anyone's aware of Winters SEO YouTube channel, it's Winters. It's Winters who runs that channel, and James March of War, who's on Instagram. They're doing an event between them at Element Games in Stockport on the 1st of October. It's like a narrative campaign. It's 3 games over 1 day, 1,100 points. And that's why it's called March of Winters, because it's March of War and Winters, so that's why they called it March of Winters.
And is that open to like any player with like an army? So it's all armies, or is it specific armies that you have to enter?
Anyone, you can take whatever you like as long as it's 1,100 points. There's no you can take legend stuff if you want. it's I don't know if it ever went open to the general public. It was invite you. Obviously, you pay for the event, and I think it's £20, and it opens up first of all to Winter's channel members, which I'm one of. So I don't know if after that he then opened it up to other people. Well, originally it was just channel members who were invited, who got to go. Evening. Nymph just asked a question. There we go for you, Jack. Which army do you play? Sorry if it's been mentioned already.
Space Marines and God, I play at the minute. That's all I've got at the minute.
And see your Space Marine army, is it like your own homebrew chapter, or is it you actually like following a specific legion or chapter?
No, that was a homebrew chapter, that was. I did paint Imperial Fists first, and this was at the time where Imperial Fists, every chapter was specific rules, and then I really didn't like the way they played. It wasn't my thing, so I changed them to Space Wolves and played that as a Space Wolf successor chapter. But now it's gone back to being Vanilla Marines until the Codex comes out, so we'll see.
Well, you can't play
see if it changes.
Space Wolves, it was crap.
Yeah, the only decent detachments Space Marines have got at the minute is the what's it called? The one the general vanilla one. That's the best one. The Earth of the Moment one, pretty much. That's the best one. So
Is it called the Gladiators?
Something like I can't remember what it's called.
Well, you're getting your Codex, aren't you? And you should get your Codex in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think so. After the Nova releases. Yeah, I think it's
just up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you pre-ordered the Nig Codex or not?
No. I'm not going to pre-order it. It's only £35 now. Did I hear right? I haven't looked.
Probably, yeah. Everything else has gone up, so I may as well.
I mean, no. I'm going to finish painting it into the Leviathan box eventually, so probably in time for 11th. And then I was going to keep it at whatever's in that box. I think it's about 800 points in the box, something. So I was using it as a compact patrol or something. So I might get it eventually, but it's not worth me pre-ordering it. I don't really. Nids don't really float my boat, but they are quite cool to paint.
I think the new stuff is really smart, to be honest. I think it's really,
they're
really,
nice
really
models.
cool.
I just don't like the idea of an army of like dinosaurs. Doesn't really do it for me. But the models are nice, and I've painted if you want Ormagorn's up, and they're easy. They're nice to paint. I don't think I'll ever have 2,000 point army of them.
No, I think they're the perfect army for contrast paint, aren't they, Neds? Where you could paint a lot quick. And I know it's never going to be world class standard, but they look, as long as it's uniform, they look good, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, just slap chop and contrast. Take to it really well, so you can get them done quite quick.
That's what you did on yours anyway, wasn't it? Was it slap chop?
I did one slap chop, I did one conventional, and then I did one with a zenithal. And everybody liked the slap chop the best. And that was the easiest one to do.
Yeah. Was that your favourite one to paint, or did you prefer the original way?
I liked how the slap chop came out. It just looked a bit meaner. The other two looked a bit. I think depending on what colours you choose, they can look a bit cartoony because you've got nothing to relate a Tyranid to because they don't exist in real life.
Yeah.
You can sort of there's enough pictures of orcs to know what an orc skin should look like. There's enough pictures of we see people all the time, so Space Marines and Guard and stuff are quite easy. But then when you've got something like a Tyranid, which is completely, there's no real reference to it, and everything can be a different eye fleet, so they can be whatever colour you like. They can look a bit. I think they can look a bit too cartoony. So I like the fact that the slap chop made them look a bit mean and aggressive and a bit more realistic, if you will.
If I was ever going to do a Tyranid army, I'd go full Starship Troopers, the black and yellow type bugs off that. I think that looks so good. It's obviously been done a few times, hasn't it? But
well,
it looks really good.
40k is a massive Starship Troopers rip-off.
Yeah. Yeah, very much.
See, I think myself, like, Tyrannid has to be a good painter to paint Tyranids because they're just going to look ridiculous. If I was to paint a Tyrannid, it would look like a 2-year-old trying to write their name.
I think you do have to be a good painter for contrast.
I think you can take them to a level. I think a lot of people who paint nids. I mean, if you look on Instagram, a lot of people who paint nids take it to that next level. I mean, Heavy Venom Cannons is a brilliant nid painter, but he takes it to that next level. And if you look at his nids, you think, oh, they look really, really complex. They look really, really difficult. But if you just want a decent looking paint job, they're really easy. But then you can take it up that level. They're a bit like custodians in that respect, where just painting to a basic level is easy. Making them look decent is easy. But if you want to, you can take it up that notch. But I think when you see someone who's taking it that far, you go, oh, that looks really complicated. It really isn't, really. It's quite easy.
I feel the same way about custodians as I do with Grey Knights, that anybody could paint a Grey Knight, but seeing trying to make them stand out, it has to take somebody like Penge to make them stand out because he's top tier. Like, I don't understand why Siege Studios haven't approached them yet. Do you know what I mean?
Nymph also says, Jack, have you got any AOS armies? And I know the answer to this question.
I had the Cities of Sigmar box drop on Saturday, so I will eventually get round to building and painting a Cities of Sigmar army. So, yeah, I need to learn how to play that as well. I still don't know how to play 40k properly, so chucking another game mode in will make it even easier, won't it, I suppose? You're
Sorry,
I'll never, ever play AOS.
What was that?
I'll never, ever play it, even though I have got an AOS army. Because demons do double duty. They're the same list. They're the same models in both games. So I've got a fully painted AOS army. I am never playing AOS.
I've got 2 AOS stuff. I got a magazine somebody gave me. I got the Storm Strike Chariot, still the rapper, and some Orc ballista thing. It's pretty cool. I thought you were into it Sunday, but I fucking got so much stuff to paint. Like, I've still got a Primaris Repulsor tank malarkey that I bought in a Black Friday sale last year. It's still in the cellophane. I haven't even opened it yet.
I'm getting booed here for not liking AOS. What can I say? I'm old school.
She's just making it tough for herself next week. That's what she's doing.
She's not in next week. She's on the week after.
Who's on next week?
Ash, the Lord of Chaos.
This is your thing, Duncan. You don't even know who's on next week.
You're the one that does all the itineraries and you don't even know who's on.
Yeah, well, I've had a really shit day at work today and it's just too hot. I hate the heat, man. I absolutely despise the heat. And I'm fucking melting, like.
Yeah, being Scottish, anything over 15 degrees is a heat wave for you lot, isn't it?
Anything over fucking 5 degrees, man.
It's like the Billy Connolly sketch, in it, when he says, when someone says, "Oh, I went to Scotland, it was raining." Come on, see, it was raining.
Fucking hate the heat, man.
I mean, sorry, go on.
No, you know, I was just going to say I fucking hate the heat. That's all I was going to say.
No, I mean, I think AOS has got some beautiful models. I think the AOS models on the whole, the range is better than the 40k range. I'll just never ever play the game because it's just for me, it destroyed my childhood. So I'm never playing the game. That's it. Put them on square bases and put them into Old World. I'll buy them. Put them onto round bases. Put them into AOS. I ain't having them. But the models themselves, I don't think there's a bad AOS model. To be fair, they're all stunning models.
I agree.
But from a game point of view, I've got no interest. None at all. But I am very interested in old world. So if some of those models can transition over, then I'll buy those models for.
I
But
think
until then,
I think that'll be the thing with old world. I'm a bit gutted all the Bretonian stuff's going to be resin, to be honest, because I would be all over that.
is it? It's all going to be. Is it going to be a 4-year-old game then, like Horus?
Sure, mate. Yeah, it'll depend
Oh,
how well
that's
it does. It
interesting.
will. Yeah, I thought you knew it was all going to be resin. All the
I knew 4-year-old were doing it, but obviously with a lot of the 30k kits being plastic, I assumed that that'd be the same sort of deal.
No, well, I'm saying this. I'm pretty sure all the releases so far, the lady on the horse the other day, that was confirmed in resin in the post, I think. But yeah, if it's all in resin, I think they'll shoot themselves in the foot massively because a lot of people would. Well, it's people like me who do not want to deal with resin in any way, shape, or form.
It's more expensive. 4-year-old resin is crap, and it's a pain in the arse to work with.
I've not met anybody yet who's got a good thing to say about working with resin.
No,
Everybody says it's a resin.
It's horrible stuff. Horrible.
Stay
Yes,
well
Nim,
away
you
from.
are on the list. You're down for the 20th. I have seen the list. It's just Dunk's really hot and forgot.
I am very hot and fucking hot. So, like, I'm going to ask everybody this question. 2 questions every week. I'm going to ask these same 2 questions. Why do people hate female space marines so much? What is your take on female space marines? Should they be in should they be made, or do you hate female space marines? What's your take on it?
I'm not bothered in the slightest. They make female space marines. They make female space marines. It's not going to affect my life in any way, shape, or form.
And what are your 5 most hated Beatles songs?
All of them. I don't like the Beatles.
Yeah, so that's 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Because last week we had Richard, Infernal Miniatures. He hates the Beatles. There's a fucking shit.
Ridiculously overrated. You know,
Oh my god.
Them and the Rolling Stones are way overrated, man.
I do like the Rolling Stones, but like I say, there's a lot of them who end up with like almost like godlike. I'm gonna put word. I've lost my word. They end up with being like idols to people. Kanye West is a prime example of this, where he was treated as a god, and now he's an absolute bellend. So that's what happens when you do that to people.
I mean, I know you are probably
female space marines because I don't want to hate on the Beatles. I mean, I'm not a massive fan, but I don't think they're shit. My take on female space marines is similar. I don't care either way, but they've never been in there in the lore, so you're asking.
They did do Bible, don't they?
No, right. I'm gonna cut this misconception now with the truth bomb because I hear this all the time and it's not true. In 1987, they brought out 2 metal female adventurers and that's what they were called, female adventurers, and they were both wearing power armor. It was never stated they were space marines. And then in 1989, an independent, back when Games Workshop let independent people write articles about their stuff without suing them for millions of pounds. So in a role-playing magazine, they wrote lore and a chapter for female space marines that you could use in games if you wanted to. So GW have never officially made female space marines, but because they bought those 2 metal miniatures, everybody went, oh, they did that before. But what Sisters of Battle, they're women in power armor as well. So they never stated they were space marines.
Yeah.
But,
I listened to that. I listened to Peachy's podcast and he had on that Scottish woman. And she said that they did make female space marines, and she was one of the people that made them.
They didn't call them female. They didn't call them female space marines. They never called them female space marines.
But I think where the confusion is, I think where the confusion is like in the lore, it was never mentioned that space marines were just male. It's something that's came out more recent that you couldn't get a male space marine because it was never said that you
The other
shouldn't.
side of the other side of the argument for female space marines is, I mean, like I say, you want to make them, make them.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
for decades, they haven't been in the law. But what people need to remember is, because when people do female space marines, when people like make their own conversions, you've always got like a bloke's body with a woman's head on, looks really feminine. But what you've got to think about is, if you look at the process to create space marine, you're pumping that many hormones and putting that many organs. Don't go there. You're putting that many organs into the human body that they're all going to look the same anyway. They're all going to look male because of everything that's in them. So, and most of the time they're wearing helmets. So that's why it doesn't bother me at all. You want to make female space marines, make them, but you've got to rewrite the law now, because for the last 20 years you've said that women can't be space marines. Then you've got to now. But they rewrote the law for Primaris, so it can be done.
Yeah.
But I just think sometimes it's
that women couldn't be. Has that ever been a thing that they've categorically said women are not space marines or women can't be space marines?
I think it's written somewhere in some book somewhere so many years ago that like a paragraph which says that the female body can't take the development or something.
Yeah.
But my main question about it as well is, are you doing it because you think it'll sell, or are you doing it because a few people are complaining on the internet?
Yeah.
And GW, at the end of the day, as we know, are like a massive business who like to gouge the crap out of people and take as much money off them as they can. If female space marines had a big enough market, wouldn't they be making them already?
Yeah. I think even now, if they did say, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to do this, you'd have 50% of people say, oh yeah, you're only doing this to gouge your money, and 50% people said, oh, you're only doing this because you've seen people moaning on the internet. I don't think they could win even if they did do it now.
I mean,
But
I think most people, I'd say most people in the hobby don't care either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't make them, make them. But then you would have to have a female Primarch, because she has to come from somewhere. So you then have to start saying that the two Lost Legions, or maybe one of the Lost Legions, was a female Primarch who took the humph and wouldn't let her brother, aka Casey, on later. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say. Like you're going to have a female Primarch then. It would have to be one of the Lost Legions.
You've got two Primarchs that are missing. One of the missing legions could be all female for all we know. In fact, you could write it in that way.
Yeah,
you could write it in that
way. I think.
But at the same time, it's just like I don't think it's as hot an issue as people make it out to be. That's my own opinion. I think that there are people who are proper gatekeepers, and they do exist in the hobby. There's plenty of them around who want things this way. It's been this way. It's got to stay this way, and you can't change it. There are all those people around, but I'd say they're a minority in the hobby. They're not the majority.
I reckon they're not
and
even
so I don't think it's as massive an issue as people make it out to be. And I think the problem is, on both ends of the spectrum, the most vocal people are always that 1%. They're the ones that will go on the internet and type stuff into the internet and troll people and say stuff. They're the idiots. And I think that makes it a bigger deal than it really is.
And then you're getting influenced. Then you're getting the people that are the influencers on who get free stuff all the time, who don't want to lose that, so they're having to jump on the side of, well, I would happily have a female space marine. That might not be their actual personal feelings, but they have to say that because they don't want to lose what they've got used to their following. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Like, if you want to have female space marines, then on you go ahead.
Lose any followers, to be honest. I don't think you'd lose people. I mean, and if you did lose them, I remember Hellstorm when the new Guard releases came out about a year ago, when they did the upgrade sprues for the Acadians, and there was female heads on there, because we all know there's male and female in the Guard, and there's just bodies for the meat grinder, isn't it? They don't care. And some people on his stream were kicking off. You know, that 1% were kicking off and giving abuse in the stream because he was all for it. It was like, oh, I'm really glad to see some female heads for the god. Yeah. And they were going off the tits at him in the chat. And it's like, and he just said to him, if that's how you think, how you think, then just don't follow, don't subscribe to me. Yeah. And he didn't lose like thousands of followers overnight. The new jackals, the cultists for the World Eaters, half of them are women, half of them are female, half of them are male, which is fine because
what I'm saying is though, say for saying sake, you decided that you didn't want to be, you didn't think there should be female Space Marines. It's against the law and it's everything that the Corpse Emperor wanted. He wanted it to be only men. He wanted it to be men only, and that's it. I think say you're a big fan, if you were to be extremely vocal that you didn't want it, then you'd get the people coming on, and I think that people are scared that if they are vocal against something which seems to gain some kind of momentum, then they would lose that following, which, let's be honest, like, a lot of people are on Instagram, and like, I know this is kind of stupid because we're doing a podcast, but they're on there for the likes. They're on there for the free stuff to get that exclusive access to Warhammer World. And if they're seen as one of the people that are anti something, then they're not going to get that invite and being in that inner circle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that, but I think my way of thinking is just that it's a game of toy soldiers.
Yeah, 100%.
Whatever you want to put in it. If I don't like models, like we've just been talking about AOS, I'll never play AOS, and I'll be quite vocal about the fact I'll never play AOS. But other people, it's what they want to play. So I'm not going to then come out and say, yeah, AOS is the lore in AOS is crap, and I don't agree with female Stormcast, because it doesn't matter. It's a plastic figure. It's not real life.
And at the end of the day as well, if it does bring in more women and more young girls to the hobby, then that's a good thing as well, because at the end of the day, as you say, it's just a game of toy soldiers. Like, I've got daughters, and when they come over from England, they'll sit and paint a model, and it's just that sense of like bonding with your kids, and it's a nice thing to do. So if they do end up bringing out female Space Marines, then why not? Let's go for it.
It's a game at the end of the day. We've got Sisters of Battle. It's not a massive leap to go to female Space Marines. We've got female Guard, we've got female Cultists, we've got every AOS armies, for instance. There's female vampires. There's there's females in the Praetorian army for Old World. There's women in everything. So it's not really an issue. And I think a lot of people who do this, there's a pretty high percentage of people who don't even play the game but will read the lore. They just like to buy a pretty model and paint it. And it's as much for them as anybody else. There's three aspects to this hobby. There's the building, there's the painting, there's the playing. Actually, there's a fourth one, because you can just be into the lore and not be into the models or the game or anything else. So you've got to cater for everybody, really. And if you don't like it, you just don't buy it. It's as simple as that. It's not like no one's going to go, oh, my life's over. I've woken up this morning and there's a new female Space Marine chapter just been released by Games Workshop. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't go to work. I can't do anything now because I'm so traumatized by a plastic model. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why people get that angry about stuff like that. I don't get it.
The internet, isn't it? The internet has to be angry about it.
I mean, I've been doing this for on and off 30 odd years, and I just think I've never been that into it that I get really angry over a range of models that I didn't agree with. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't buy those models. I wouldn't let it affect my life in any way, shape or form. I might have a joke about it in some banter. But other than that, does it really affect your life? This is supposed to be a recreational hobby.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be what we do to get away from the stresses and the strains of life. Life is too short to argue on the internet about plastic toys. It just really is. Banter's one thing, but having a full-on angry argument is just like, it's just mental.
Can you remember? Have you ever seen the video of the bloke who set his Bretonian army on fire?
Yeah, exactly.
This is what
Why
I mean.
would you
This
do
kind of
that?
mental thing, yeah. I bet he's kicking himself now because that army will be worth thousands, on it?
But it was
All the
worth
old
money
marbles.
then. You know,
Right, yeah.
I've sold metal GW miniatures on the internet, on eBay. The money they go for is stupid. I bought a Farseer in the 90s, and I think I paid a fiver for it, and I sold it for like 50 quid. And it's like, so if you don't want it, sell it. Don't burn it. I mean, why would you do that? I've spent hours and hours on this army. I've spent hundreds of pounds on it, and now I'm going to set fire to it because AOS come out. It's like, mate, what? Get alive. Get a grip. Go outside and touch some grass, for God's sake.
Quite worrying there's people like that in the world, though, and that have to get that angry over something absolutely minute, really, in the grand scheme of things. There's a lot of worse things going on.
For some people, and I think this is probably the stigma the hobby's still got, is that there is still a core of people who play the game who are usually male, usually still live in the parents in the 30s and 40s, and this is their life. This is what they do. This is what they live, eat, sleep, drink, and this is all they do. And for them, I guess it is their life, but it's just like, it shouldn't be. It should be a hobby first, and then, you know.
And the reason I feel that they're so so clingy to it is, see, back in the 80s and 90s, you'd have been slagged off for doing it. You'd have been picked on. But see, because of the likes of like Henry Cavill, and especially YouTube now, that it's became so mainstream, because it is now mainstream. Do you know what I mean? Then they feel as though they're losing their hobby, and it's been infiltrated by people that picked on them, or that, you know what I mean, or maybe who couldn't afford it back in the day. Now that it's so accessible, and you only have to go on YouTube now to watch a tutorial on how to wet blend or how to clean your brushes. You know what I mean? Or do what I do. You buy brushes, you never use them because they're expensive, and you just keep using the same one brush for every model that you paint.
I think that is it as well. When I started doing this in the 80s when I was a kid, it was you were like the nerds. You were It was you and probably half a dozen of your mates, and you'd meet up. We used to meet up on like a Thursday night or a Monday night, and we'd play different games. Not always Games Workshop games. Sometimes we'd do Dungeons and Dragons or the role-playing games. Sometimes we'd play Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer 40,000. And we were very much like, if you didn't want women, you didn't want the girls at school to find out that's what you did, because that was that was like the kiss of death. And it was very underground and very like you only you just test if you were talking to somebody who you hadn't met before and you thought they might be a nerd like you, but you just sort of ask a few guiding. You wouldn't come straight out and say, yeah, I play role-playing games, because you get your head kicked in. And that's where you come from. And then now it's like, but again, it depends on your point of view, because if you'd have told 13-year-old me that in X amount of years it'd be proper mainstream, women would be playing it, and women would be painting, and they'd be you'd be able to go to the pub and talk about it, or go to the pub and play a game, because some pubs do like you can go and play board games and role-playing games. If you'd have told me that, if you'd have told 13-year-old me that, I'd have been so excited for the future.
Listen, if you had told 13-year-old you that Superman was into Warhammer, you'd have came in your pants.
That's what I mean. It's just like, no, it's like, what, I can talk about this hobby and to normal people, and they're not going to like judge me, and they're going to be interested. This is amazing. But then you've got other people who want to go back to those dark days where you were literally hiding in a basement. It was like, it was like Anne Frank. You'd be knocking on the door and like, who are you? Come on, come in. Because you didn't want to get, because you would. I'd seen it when I was at school. You would see nerds get the absolute crap kicked out of them just for being into like playing role-playing games. We did when I was like 16, we did for Children in Need, we did a 48-hour Dungeons and Dragons role play. So we were just like constantly going. We got sponsored, and our religious education teacher wouldn't sponsor us because she said Dungeons and Dragons were devil worshippers. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, we were devil worshippers, but that had nothing to do with playing Dungeons and Dragons. No, I'm kidding. But it was just, it's just one of those things where it was so underground, and now it's, lots of people are into it.
Like that's why I want to do this kind of podcast and get people from all aspects of the hobby universe, because we've had a commission painter already, we've had somebody who likes Last of the Summer Wine tagging us in pictures, we've got some random called Ash next week, and we've got Nymph from Norway, we've got a dungeon master, we've got Denmark, whatever, she's Danish anyway, and we've got a cosplayer coming on, we've got a dungeon master coming on, so that's why I want to do this, so people can see it's not just sitting in a room painting wee guys, it's dressing up and going to conventions in these wee guys as well, do you know what I mean?
Some of the cosplay stuff though is fantastic, the effort that goes into that. Not something I particularly would be interested in, but yeah, you've got to appreciate the effort that people go to with stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I've got a guy coming on called Forges of Ruin, and the only reason I hooked up with him is I did the Ho Hobby Vices last year, and that was who I was paired up with, was a guy that I think he did a Clone Trooper, and he's also done some Mechanicum lad as well, and he's been in Warhammer World dressed up as his Mechanicum lad. So it's going to be good to have a cosplayer on, because I've got some proper questions to ask them, where do you store this stuff? How long does it take? You know what I mean? So it's going to be good. You don't really see things like this on Instagram and that. You know what I mean?
It's not something that I do personally, but it's always cool to see.
Oh, definitely.
The guys at the Star Wars conventions at the 501st Legion that all got proper stormtrooper armor and stuff, and it's like that to me is like, that's amazing. And then when I went to Omafest, and there was some of the guys had done the Space Marine costumes, and there was a guy walking around dressed as Horus, and he was obviously on stilts, either that or he was 9 foot tall. But you just think that the time and effort that's gone into that, and the amount of skill it takes to make it, and to wear it, and to walk around in it all day, you've got to admire that. But it's not something that I'd ever do, because I think I'd be too self-conscious.
Yeah.
Walk around in a costume in public.
I'd be more worried about trying to walk on stilts, because imagine if you fall over in front of all them people, you're going to make yourself look a right twat, aren't you?
Well, that a couple of them, there was the guy as Horus and the guy as Rogal Dawn, and they had people literally guiding them and parting people out the way.
Yeah,
so they didn't because obviously you don't want to fall on your arse in front of I don't know, there's 10,000 people there on the Saturday. You don't want to be falling on your arse in front of 10,000 people, do you?
Not if you can.
Guys, that's more actually an hour. So I'm trying to keep it to an hour. I really want to run over.
Is your electricity bill really high? You not afford to have the lights on?
I can turn the bed light on. I don't like putting the bed light on.
I'll send you a candle if you want. If things are that bad, I'll send you a candle.
I don't like putting the big light on.
Yeah, I don't like it back off. It was better when it was off.
Exactly. I'm a double bagger, do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm a triple bagger. But yeah, I'm trying to keep it to an hour just over. I don't want to go on too long either. Not that I don't want to speak to you longer, but I'm just trying to keep it initially to an hour.
No problem.
So I just want to say thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll definitely have you back on again if Simon hasn't got his band and if Casey's allowed on. Make us substitute you in for Casey. You're a better track than him anyway. You know what I mean?
How can I say? I'm better looking. I'm a better painter. I'm northern.
It's like not to be a better painter than Casey. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and you're not into fences the way he's into fences, which is a bit weird.
Yeah.
You joined us tonight.
I'm better painter than Casey.
Anything else you want to, any words of wisdom in your hobby journey that you would like to share with Nymph? Because she's been here faithfully the whole hour. She must be like midnight in Denmark or wherever she's from.
If she wants,
they're the same. They're an hour behind us, aren't they?
Oh, they're an hour ahead.
An hour ahead. Yeah.
If she wants a translator for whenever she's on, just let me know and I'll translate for her.
She can't understand Snake, mate. She doesn't understand me.
I can type it, it's just don't say it. It's just have to listen to me as well.
Right, guys, thanks again for coming on, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.